Coming up on another solo show adventure.
Just want to say right now, I want one.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, though. I mean, what a space saver, man.
Well, maybe for most people, but for me, like my dining room table right now is covered in like 3,000, like 30,000 Legos. So then if I lower the table, it would just be a bunch of Lego bricks on the floor.
And then you'd be stepping on them and hurting your feet.
I'm doing that anyway, stepping on them.
Stan welcomes Kris Banas, Scott Clark, and Ken the voiceover guy to the Solo Studios to talk about the latest edition of Ahsoka, currently streaming on Disney+. And just a heads up, there is no spoiler-free zone, so if you haven't seen it already, that's on you. The Solo Show is brought to you, as always, by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney and the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com.
Realtor Victor Naraki makes living near Walt Disney World a reality, specializing in all the communities surrounding Disney. Whether you're looking to relocate or invest in a new property, maybe you want a vacation home for your retirement. With over a decade of experience in the area, Victor will adapt to your needs, help you find the right property, or get you the best price for your property. Reach out to him today on his website, celebratingflorida.com, or at disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Follow him at Victor Naraki Realtor on Facebook, and don't forget to tell him that the Solo Show sent you.
On our show, the story goes in places you can't imagine with new characters you've never seen in live action.
And she did help.
We have to prepare for the worst.
Harrison Dula is the leader of the Ghost crew. She's a pilot.
Hera is such an incredible leader and fighter.
Mary is just great. I mean, every scene she's in was just awesome.
You and I both know who could help you with this. Oh my God, that is Sabine. Natasha's so perfect for the character.
Sabine's already a warrior and very proven. And she's Ahsoka's former apprentice.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
I love Sabine. She struggles with her emotions. She's impulsive. I think she's just relatable. She's got good intentions, but she doesn't always make the right decision.
I love the complexity of the characters in this. They're a bit unpredictable. They're all struggling with a set of circumstances, and they need each other.
Buckle up.
This is so powerful. This is provocative, exciting, and fun. I can't wait for people to watch it.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Rising Suns, and welcome to another Solo Show edition of the Solo Show edition of the Ahsoka series. We're doing part 2 and part 3 of Ahsoka.
Yes.
We got Time to Fly and Fallen Jedi we're doing. We're just going to give you a warning right off the hop. We're going to go straight into spoilers. We're not going to do a spoiler-free section. We're waiting quite a bit of time before we start recording these. So if you haven't watched it yet, it's on you. Joining me today on the round table, we got Yip Fairy Kris.
I'm very excited again to talk about this with you guys. So let's go.
Okay, so between 3 and 4, which one did you prefer?
I actually preferred 4.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bored in episode 3.
Okay.
I mean, not the whole time, but there was parts of it that it was a snoozer. But 4 had me on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Okay. Also joining us today is Jedi Scott. Scott, how are you today? And which one did you prefer of the two?
I'm doing great. Of course, I liked 4 the best out of the 2. That being said, I still enjoyed number 3. 3 was kind of short. By the time it was over, I was like, what? It's done already? I was ready to go for episode 4. So
yeah, I saw that runtime as soon as I hit play, and I'm like, wait a minute, 30 minutes? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Good thing we're doing 2 shows together.
Yeah.
And I think the way we're doing it is working out pretty good so far because we've got the storylines. It was kind of a 2-parter, these 2. They partnered together quite well.
Yeah.
Also joining us today is your Carson and my Carson, Ken, the voiceover guy. How are you today, today, my friend. And which one did you prefer?
I'm great, thank you. My Winnipeg Blue Bombers won a fantastic game this afternoon, which is why my voice sounds like this. I was going to do a quick impression for you here if I can, just see if anybody can get this. All right. You rang. Okay. Absolutely, bar none. Favorite episode was episode 4. Fallen Jedi was amazing.
Yeah. Before we get too much into it, I got a bit of a confession to make. So I'm following along on different group chats, and we're doing this show, and you guys are talking about Rebels and all this and that. And I've watched every episode of Rebels, but there was things that I was fuzzy on. I couldn't remember some of these details everybody's talking about Ahsoka being Sabine's apprentice and World Between Worlds and stuff like that. So I'm going to rewatch the final season of Rebels because it's been a while. So I go to rewatch the final season of Rebels, and guess what? I never watched the final season of Rebels before.
That explains it.
Well, that would be why.
Well, that would have a lot to do with your dilemma there, Stan.
No wonder everything was fuzzy for me. I couldn't remember. I thought I was forgetting this stuff like big time. I don't know how. I watched the first 2 episodes of the final season because you got that red line. I watched those, and then the rest of them didn't have the. And I'm like, did I not see these before? And I've never seen these before, so I got a special treat this past weekend. I got to watch Rebels for the first time.
There you go.
So I'm caught up now.
Okay, and did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. You should watch it. Trust me, guys. Watch it.
Yes.
I think one of the highlights in this show, Sabine. I like the whole episode 3, falling time to fly. I like the training sequence and kind of seeing more of Ahsoka's ship. That she has that multi-purpose room that's like a dining room, training room type thing. I like how that table went in and out of the floor and the chairs rose and whatnot. I thought that was really cool. I guess we saw that room before at the table, but we've never seen it go down before. I don't think. Did we?
Yeah. That seemed like that was kind of new to me.
That was new. Yeah.
I think we saw that for the first time in the second episode, and I just want to say right now, I want one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, though. I mean, what a space saver, man.
Well, maybe for most people, but for me, like my dining room table right now is covered in like 30,000 Lego bricks. So then if I lower the table, it would just be a bunch of Lego bricks on the floor.
And then you'd be stepping on them and hurting your feet.
I'm doing that anyway, stepping on them.
Well, I tell you what, the beginning of that episode with training with Sabine and Huang, I want to see Huang some more. I want to see them do like Tales of the Jedi where they have him on it, or do like these 5-minute shorts or something with him that go over his backstory over the last 1,000 years of his existence and seeing what he knows and all that work with previous Jedis. Yeah. I find him a very interesting character.
You know what? I now that you say it, I think we are going to see him pop up in like Tales of the Jedi and stuff like that. It makes perfect sense.
It does.
Yeah. Or in that upcoming movie that's supposed to go way back, like thousands of generations. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. So she's doing her training, and she has like the wooden sticks, and she puts the blast helmet on or whatever, which is reminiscent to A New Hope. I just picture Luke Skywalker's ghost sitting there going, back in my day, we used training droids that shot back at us. We didn't have wooden sticks. We had actual lightsabers, back in my day. When Kenobi was training me, I didn't get no wooden stick. I could have lost a hand. I could totally see Luke's ghost there heckling them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, I thought it was cool. I thought the whole training session was really neat. Hera is so they, I guess they get to this. They find the ring. I was totally wrong. They don't need a Star Destroyer in that ring to take off basically the ship itself. So strike one for me.
You got to be wrong sometimes, Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a very good record in them. So Mon Mothma and the other chancellors have a meeting with Hera, and it doesn't go Hera's way. She kind of wanting to form a squad team to go look at this new technology and find out what the Empire is at, or not. I guess not the Empire. What do they call it at this point? The old Empire, the up and coming Empire Part 2. Do they have
Empire Reborn? I don't know.
Yeah.
Empire 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking some of those senators, after we find out that Hera can't go on with them, the senators don't want him to go or want her to go or have the Republic help him out. I'm wondering if some of those senators are in cahoots with old Empire
I agree completely.
generals or whoever.
Yeah.
Have some loyalty towards them.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think that they are that they're kind of like almost disappointed that the Empire lost 2 Death Stars back to back like that.
Yeah.
The scene where Hera talks to what's the senator, and she says to him, she goes, "Where were you during the war, Senator?"
Yeah.
And so as I'm watching this, my wife is kind of in the other room, not really watching. I'm rewatching it the second time. My wife's in the other room. She's not really paying attention. She's not really watching it. But when Hera said that, she goes, "Were you in the war, Senator?" And he goes, "No." My wife yells from the other room, "Then go to hell!" The stage, I started laughing so loud when my wife yells at him.
Oh my!
Yeah, because I think either way, that senator would have went on to whoever would have won.
Yeah,
would have backed them up, whether it would have been the Empire or the Rebellion. That was his attitude.
And yet he still doesn't want to back up the New Republic.
No.
Like he's still kind of, I think our resources better spent somewhere else. Almost like he doesn't want her to find out about the ring. So it kind of makes me think you were right, Scott, about how he is still an Empire loyalist.
Well, everything kind of plays into the new sequels with Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. You know, the Republic kind of turned a blind eye towards it, and this is the reason why they were able to. If they would have sent all those ships over there, they would have destroyed that ring and squashed them right then and there, and then probably wouldn't have been no more Empire or whatever.
New Empire. They would have no way of getting Thrawn. And
the First Order.
I watched.
And that's still kind of.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say
I
watched an interesting video on Watt Culture on YouTube, and it was an interesting video about some fan theories that start to make more sense the more you listen to them. And one of the things that they were talking about, without giving away too many spoilers, is how the Ahsoka series is going to connect up to introducing Snoke as the new quote-unquote emperor. So I would recommend anybody that's interested check it out. Some of the theories you sit and listen to and they're kind of go, yeah, okay, I don't really think so. I mean, the whole Jar Jar Binks is actually a Sith Lord thing is ridiculous, but
yeah.
And I think we've seen that with the last season of The Mandalorian with the cloning.
Right. Yeah, right,
and
exactly.
all that. So,
Yeah. Stop saying Jar Jar is a thing. All you goofy fans out there, that's not going to happen. I want to talk a little bit about the Force. Ben Kenobi back in The New Hope says that it's the Force is what gives a Jedi its powers. It binds us, it penetrates us. It's in all living things. And now Ahsoka says it's in all living things. But talent is a factor. Ahsoka, everybody has the Force, but talent is a factor. Then yet in episode 1, we have to have a high metachlorian count to use the Force. So is that part of the talent? Is that metachlorian count?
I would have to think so. That the more metachlorians you have, you're stronger with the Force. Because not everybody in the galaxy has it.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a select few. So I'm thinking it has to be more the true Jedi have more metachlorians than the average person does.
Yeah, and I look at like an MMA fighter. They have high testosterone, I'm guessing. I mean, that makes him a better MMA fighter. I mean, anybody could throw a baseball. Anybody that has an arm and muscles, they can throw a baseball. But not everybody can throw a baseball like a major league player can. So there's something that gives them, a better ability and talent. So I guess it all.
Yeah, talent's only going to take you so far. You got to have those genes essentially to be able to make it to the next level. And you see that in professional sports.
And the training and the,
So I have a question then about when you're talking about the Force and who's got midichlorians. And so this Shin Hati, where I am like dying to know where she came from, because she's definitely got powers.
Mm-hmm.
Where Sabine,
maybe she was one of the younglings.
I'm still
because they're still
go ahead.
No, because they're still people still have them. Younglings or the young children still have it. But they don't get trained. Before they would get picked up, the Jedi would try to get them while they're super young and train them. So I'm sure with her, she either was a youngling or
She would have been
Balin
really
seen
young.
something in
If
her.
she was around
Yeah,
doing Warrior
I
66, she would have been really young.
I'm so curious about her.
Yeah.
I hope
I'm
they're going
still
to go into some more about that character.
I'm still sticking with my theory that she's Morgan's daughter, and I felt it even more so with episode 4 with this when Ahsoka takes little girl Sith, whatever her name is, and and pushes her against Stonehenge, like makes her fly. He loses it at that point,
Yes.
and it wasn't so much, and it felt more not so much you hurt my apprentice, it was like you hurt my daughter.
Oh, you think that's Balin's daughter?
Yeah, Balin
Not
Morgan.
Morgan.
Yeah,
that'd be Balin.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. I could see that.
Well, I think they kind of
Is what
hinted
I'm-
at that in the very first episode. You can see the connection between them is a lot more than just an apprentice and a master. Like, it sort of plays similar to the relationship that comes later on between Anakin and Ben, where they're a lot closer than just being, apprentice and master. There's even a point where Ben says to him, "You were my brother," and he treats him like his
when
brother.
you're with them for I could see, when you're with someone day in and day out for 10, 15, 20 years, you become like a brother or a father figure, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I think that's just natural.
But do you think that?
And at the same time, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you think that the girl apprentice, and I'm sorry, I can't think of her name either. Do you
Just
think
call
that
her
it's
Little Girl Sith?
Little Girl Sith? Yeah. Do you think she is actually his physical daughter?
Shin.
Well, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, we've seen this in the Star Wars universe already with Luke being like, everybody doesn't need to be related in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of frustrating. But at the same time, the only one we really have seen is Vader and Luke and Leia being related. But it's you feel like everybody in Star Wars is related, and you go, well, we've already been there, but there really hasn't been that many.
Yeah.
And if someone is strong in the Force, they quite often their kids are strong in it. So
Yeah. Okay. Just a thought from me.
yeah,
So.
yeah. There was the dog fights, and it really felt like Star Wars to me. Those dog fights with little girl Sith and her little droids that were fighting. Sabine went into that. I love Ahsoka's ship. I love the look of it.
The gun turret.
Yeah, I love that little tail gun at the back, and the sound effects that they chose for those dog fighters, those ships were amazing. That's like, I think it might be one of my top 10 Star Wars sounds now. The sounds of those ships, and they had like a very much like a World War II look to them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like those old Mustang airplanes back in the day.
Yeah. I loved every single second of that, and I really felt like I was back in the Star Wars universe when that whole scene was going on.
That's why I wish it had gone on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so speaking of the dogfight, what'd you guys think of Ahsoka in her spacesuit out there with her lightsabers?
Awesome.
Yeah, so
taking one of the ships down.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So other than Princess Leia doing Mary Poppins, is this the first time we've seen that in live action?
Yes.
Think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
I
was so disappointed. We finally, after 30 years, 40 years, get to see Leia use the Force, and like you say, it's like watching Mary Poppins coasting through the stars, and it was just such a huge disappointment. It was so nice to see a Jedi in space, in a space suit, using their powers, and the way that I always picture it in my head, the way I always pictured Jedi having that kind of power and that kind of talent.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I didn't like about it, they're in a dogfight, and she changed into her spacesuit in a matter of seconds, it seemed like. Because in reality, that would have probably took her a little bit, and they're trying to dodge those fighters out there.
Well, even tucking your head tails into the helmet
there.
would probably take a half hour in real time.
Probably.
Exactly.
It's some kind of instant thing, you just press a button and it's like...
That's just being a little nitpicky, but overall, I like
her
it.
new spray-on suit from the makers of the Baby Yoda pierogi maker.
Yeah, it would have been really bad if when she came back to her seat afterwards and she changed back into her gray jumpsuit. That would have been really bad if she took the time to like. This was filmed on different days, wasn't it? very good.
Now, speaking of Ahsoka's ship, that ship is pretty cool. We just seen Hasbro make the Ghost. Let's see Hasbro do Ahsoka's ship.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. This was way cooler than the Ahsoka ship.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love the design of that ship.
And even the steering with the two different levers that one goes up and one goes down. I think one controls the wings and the other one controls, I don't know, like it's neat. Like it's like a bicycle pedals. Kinda.
Yeah.
So Time to Fly. Where does the title come from? Is it Sabine's time to fly? Is it her time to be a Jedi? Is it the space whales that we saw? Whose time to fly was?
I actually kind of think it's a combination
I
of
guess
the two, actually.
It could, yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
And looking at the title in the episode, you would have thought it would have been Sabine, in the beginning, but after watching it, I think it's a combination of everything on it with Sabine, the whales, to go to the planet,
Yeah. So they land on this red forest planet, and Morgan, instead of sending out probe droids, he sends his Inquisitors to go look, and their robot friends, or their droid friends, to go look for him, and he just basically says, "Hunt them down," and they run away, and that's how the episode 3 ends.
Well, before we go on to the next episode, we finally got to see Jason, Hera's son.
Yeah.
So that was neat.
And just before
Green
we
hair
dive
and
into
all.
number 4, I gotta say I loved the design of that forest world. It was just beautiful. I thought it was like a painting.
Yeah, with the
Yeah, it was like a blood red vines or whatever veins. It felt like there was veins coming out of the ground.
It was like a planet of poinsettias.
Yeah.
That's well put. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was quick. I mean, there wasn't a heck of a lot to talk about. They did cover a lot, though. They talked about the forest. We got a really cool dogfight. We got fighting in space. We got space whales, the Purgles. I don't know.
Speaking of the Purgles, too, do you think they were kind of helping out Ahsoka?
Oh yeah,
letting her get away.
Yeah.
Time. So they sense the Force then.
I think so.
Who's good and who's bad, because they essentially they saved them.
Yeah.
Because they were pretty much going to be dead in the water.
Yep. And I think again, Hera kind of stole the show for me in this one. When she just totally captivates me when she's on the screen. Yeah, you were talking about her son and all that.
No, I enjoy her. I enjoy the character overall with her emotion, and
I've always liked her. All through the Rebels series, I liked that character. So I'm glad to see that they're continuing on with her in that same mode, as she's a go-getter, and I really, really like that about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far as the series, the people that I enjoy the most has to be Hera, and it has to be Balin. Those two actors have been amazing so far.
Yeah, and Chopper
in this series. Yeah, Chopper. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree completely, Scott. I thought it was cool though, like when Ahsoka was in the space part, we kind of got a little bit of the old Ahsoka, where she was kind of like, "Well, you're going to pick me up then?" Like she kind of felt a little bit more old Ahsoka, like I felt, or younger Ahsoka, I guess you could say,
like a little more full of energy.
Yeah. She wasn't just sitting there with her arms crossed, rolling her eyes at people the whole entire episode. We got to see some bit more. Episode 4, Fallen Jedi. Okay, so I asked, whose time was it to fly? Who's the Fallen Jedi in this one?
Well, actually,
it could be two different people.
You could think about, without jumping all the way to the end right away, that's kind of got 3 parts in that title. There's 3 people that could you could qualify as a Fallen Jedi.
Well, we can go right to the end. We're doing spoilers. It's spoilerific anyways.
So Ken, who would you say the 3 was? Off the bat, I'm only thinking of maybe 2.
You've got the Fallen Jedi of I'm sorry, I can't think of Ray Stevens' character's name right now. Baylock.
Yeah,
thank you. You've got the literal falling Ahsoka, because that's she's literally the one.
Yeah.
But also Sabine, because there's a line. Hang on, I got my notes right here. She said, Ahsoka says to Sabine, "Can I count on you?" Like she's not sure. And then at the end, like you say, we're going with spoilers here. At the end, Sabine fails her because she tells her to destroy the map, and she doesn't do it. She tries to negotiate instead of just doing what her master told her. So technically, that's the 3rd Fallen Jedi. She's not a Jedi yet, but she is.
Yeah. Well, and
He's
if you want to
trained.
go with the fourth, we got Anakin in this one, who's like the ultimate fallen Jedi.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, that's
True,
very true.
true.
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah.
I would have just said Sabine and Ahsoka.
See, my thought was Anakin was my thought. It was for this.
That's a good point. I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah. So this one starts off with Ahsoka and Sabine basically talking about, hey, you know what? We might have to destroy the map. Like Ken, you were saying, like this is something that we might have to do because she actually uses because Thrawn could be the heir to the Empire, which of course we all know is the name of the first book that kind of relaunched the entire Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
And like you said, Ken, in the end she doesn't do it. Like she doesn't. And what was she thinking? Holding it in her hand with a. Can you imagine holding a coffee cup and you have a gun pointing at it?
I'm like,
She
she's
would have
gonna
blew
shoot
her
her
hand
hand
off
off.
with it.
I know. That was the goofiest looking thing I've ever seen. Like, throw it in the air and shoot it, or put it on, I don't know, like holding it in her hand with the gun pointing right at it. I didn't get that at all.
Well, it makes you understand why Ahsoka said that to Sabine.
Yeah.
Can I trust you? And clearly she couldn't. She's all about getting Ezra.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. So, anyways, the other thing too I thought was really neat in at the beginning there was Sabine kind of looking. She had that gun and she kind of cocks the gun and looks into it and she's looking in her bag and all that. And then Ahsoka picks up. It looks like a shotgun shell almost, and goes, "Is this what you're looking for?" I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in Star Wars, where they actually have something that they put into the gun that is like basically a bullet, or like is that a battery pack?
A cartridge.
Or yeah.
Is it a cartridge for pew pew pew?
Yeah. Is this a laser cartridge? Like,
I think that's exactly what it is. It's a cartridge.
Yeah. Like Chewbacca always had a bandolier with all those, which normally would be like for cartridges or bullets or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that what he's carrying all these times? Is different cartridges for guns? Like, I don't know.
I would always assume that it was the clip for his crossbow. I always assumed.
Yeah, but we never seen him use a clip. Yep. We never seen them change a bullet. We never seen them change a cartridge ever that I know of.
Yeah.
But you know what? In movies and TV, you never see anybody stop and reload. It's just like all of a sudden, it's like watching Dirty Harry, and he's taking down, half of San Francisco, and he's never once stopped to reload,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ken, at this point, you can cut in the. I got 7 bullets. You feel lucky.
Exactly.
You feel lucky, punk.
You feel lucky, punk. Yeah.
You feel lucky. I want to jump back 1 second because something caught me right at the very beginning of the episode. In the very first episode, you mentioned that like the Lucasfilm logo at the beginning there, where they show all the droids and everything like that, it was all red, all one color. This time they went back to the multiple colors and everything like that. But what was interesting, I thought, was that there was no music or anything. You could just hear the wind blowing in background, very, very slightly. And I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into that, but it just seemed strange to me because there's always been that Lucasfilm music or the that little bit of Star Wars music there. And the fact that they changed back to the different colors, like you said, there's the shot of Vader and he's red, and then there's the shot of Hu Yang and he's blue and that sort of thing. But there's no music or anything, and all you can just hear is sort of like a gentle, wind blowing sort of sound. And then they cut directly to them on the planet's surface, and I just thought that was kind of strange. And I'm wondering if that's significant or if it's just me reading too much into it. Like, is that a red herring?
No, I honestly, I don't think you're reading too much into that at all. I think there is going to be some meaning behind that whole thing. Just have to watch it.
Yeah, I didn't notice the sounds, but I rewatched episode 3 and 4 today, and I noticed Sabine's helmet being red both times. And I want to go rewatch episode 2 if that's the same, if it's the same case.
Yeah, that was something I was going to point out, that Sabine is red in those flashes. And Filoni doesn't do anything like that willy nilly.
No.
He has hidden things.
There's always reason behind
everything.
I've noticed he does throw out the odd red herring every now and then, just to
That's true.
But and maybe that's one of them. But I don't know, like that just seemed strange to me especially when you mentioned that in the very first episode that there was that all one color, which was unusual.
Yeah, they're all going to be bad at the end. They're all joining. They're all joining Vader's leash. Dave Filoni's sitting there going, put in different colors. We'll talk about that on their podcast.
That'll drive all the fanboys nuts.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they'll be talking about it tomorrow. The battle between the assassin droid and what's his name? Hura?
Oh, Hu Yang.
Hu Yang?
Hu Yang.
That was cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
I liked when his back arms were coming out and he was fighting them with his
Throwing
back
punches,
arms
yeah.
too.
little punches and yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind Fallen Jedi. They should have called this one Rock'em Sock'em Droids. That should have been the name of this episode.
That would have been a good one, yes.
Can't change the title to it to Rock'em Sock'em Droids.
Yeah.
It's a solo show.
Oh my gosh.
Did anybody else think it was kind of weird hearing a droid yelling for help, though?
Yeah.
Yes.
It just threw me. I'm like, help, 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 help. I'm like, wow, that's unsettling.
Yes.
And he gets the angry eyes when he gets when they're fighting.
He breaks out the Mr. Potato
Well,
Head
what I
angry
found-
eyes.
What I found was weird is Ahsoka and Sabine didn't hear the banging on the ship
Yeah.
with the droids fighting, between Hu Yang and that other droid, the HK droid. They're fighting each other, not hearing the banging out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expected them to come charging out there like 30 seconds after it started, and they
I would have figured they would have heard. I would have figured they would have heard the banging
Mm-hmm.
first before they would have heard him say, "Help me, help me."
and then the lights going out or the power being cut.
And I think that's his way of getting their attention.
Sure.
Killing the power.
Yeah. And then like Sabine goes, "That daft droid."
Yeah.
I like that.
Is that a new swear word in the Star Wars?
Daft.
I don't think I've heard him say daft before.
So how come Ahsoka didn't sense the presence of that droid in the Force?
Yes. Yeah. Or the Inquisitor.
Maybe because it was a droid and not an actual person.
Well, the Inquisitor was 2 feet behind. He was right nearby too.
Yeah.
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 No, because the Inquisitor or Morok and that lady,
Little girl Sith,
they showed up a little bit later after they ran off, and Sabine and Ahsoka ran off into the forest, and that's when they ran into those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's even the scene where Ahsoka's walking back to the ship, and I actually wrote one of my notes down here as I thought I actually expected her to say, "I sense a disturbance in the Force." Like I was sort of waiting for her to say that.
Yeah.
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 She didn't pick up nothing. I mean, like Han and Leia heard Minox crawling on the outside of the Falcon.
Yeah.
In the cave, but they couldn't hear them bang, bang, bang against the side of the ship. Good point. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Chris, I want to talk to you. Okay, so in the original trilogy, we had Princess Leia, and that was about it for female roles. So in this, so we got what we have Ahsoka, we have Sabine, we have Hera, Mon Mothma, little girl Sith. Is that important? Do you think to female?
Shin. Her name is Shin.
Okay, Shin.
Just
I
think
like
of
little girl
somebody
Sith
kicking
better.
you in the shin.
Can call this episode "Little Girl Sith."
Little girl Sith. I like that.
Is that important, you think, to female Star Wars fans, younger ones, older ones like yourself?
I do.
Yeah.
I think there has been an absence of main characters and women being focused upon in these stories. So I do. And I think there's a whole purpose behind this is to gain more female Star Wars fans. I mean, I've always been one. It didn't, that was not a bearing one way or the other for me. I always adored Leia, but I didn't go, oh, I really like this because Leia's in it. I always liked the storylines and the characters and everything. But yeah, I do for, drawing more attention to the Star Wars franchise for females. I think this is probably something they're aiming for.
Yeah, because I think about like the action figures when I was growing up. So we had for females, we had the Princess Leia action figure, and then we had the Princess Leia action figure in Hoth gear.
Yeah, right.
And then later on, we had the Princess Leia action figure in slave out in bikini.
Yeah.
Did they ever release that as an action figure? I don't think so, actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did they? Yeah. Okay, I don't remember that one. My mom probably wouldn't let me have that one, I would imagine.
Yeah. Kenny, you're not getting that.
I get your question, Stan, while you ask Chris that. I didn't even think about it. Watching Rebels, they had strong women characters in there already, and it never even crossed my mind. I know after the first 2 episodes came out, there was some uproar about it with the fanboys, so to speak, and it's all females, but that didn't even cross my mind. I'm here to watch a good story, whether it's all females or whatever it is, and I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I could see Disney bringing in, or movies in general, bringing in more strong female lead characters, and that doesn't bother me one bit.
That's well said. That's well said for sure. I mean, George Lucas tried in episode 1. I mean, he had Queen Amidala in her royal outfit, and he had Queen Amidala in her royal room outfit, and he had Queen Amidala in her Senate outfit, and he had Queen Amidala in her flight outfit. So there was all sorts of Queen Amidala figures you could buy.
Yes.
Well, and they had Padme with all her handmaidens too.
Yeah. So meanwhile, out at Stonehenge, so they get out of the ship and they make short order of the droid.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what caused them to make them want to go look for. I guess they knew that they were on the planet. Like, why did they leave the ship?
Yeah, they knew she landed out there into the forest. Yeah, in the end of episode 3, because they were looking for her, so they knew that she landed, and the ship was damaged, so it wasn't like they could have took off without them not noticing.
Yeah, because they knew that they had hit her ship. So
no. I mean, why did Ahsoka and Sabine leave Ahsoka's ship to go look for?
Because Hu Yang
trouble.
had.
It was about get them.
I was just going to say because Hu
Ken.
Yang had to disable it again because he had to rip the power out to get their attention. The ship wasn't capable of flying anymore.
Yeah.
So we could stay and help Hu Yang fix the ship, or we could go out and look to beat up somebody.
Yeah, but it was all about trying to get the map.
Yeah,
that's that's the main focus right there. Let's get the map before they get it and take off.
And Ahsoka said to Sabine, "We're going to have to make a very difficult decision, when we find it." And by her saying that, she was telling her we have to destroy it.
Destroy it, right?
So nobody else can find him either.
Right. Yeah.
So
how did they know?
Yeah, because if they would have waited for the ship to get fixed, they would have been gone. They could have been gone already.
So how did they know that the map?
I think this was their best
planet?
chance.
Well,
because they've seen the ring there, the other ship.
Yeah, but how do they know the map? Like,
they know everybody's
I would think
there.
the map would be on the ring. Like, why would you have the ring? You know what I mean? Like, if you're driving in a car, you don't leave your map at home. You take the map with you in the car. You know what I'm saying?
Well, didn't she say something, Ahsoka, about knowing that Morgan was involved in that and had that area, that was like their old planet or something that they did whatever?
I don't know.
The Stonehenge?
I must have missed something because to me it didn't make sense why they would. I mean, Huang, fix the ship by yourself. We're gonna go see it. Maybe Morgan's on this planet, and maybe he has the map, and maybe we can destroy it if he does. Like, the whole thing just felt weird. So, anyways, they take off, and Sabine and little girl Sif get to go at it again, and Ahsoka battles the Inquisitor. That was a cool move that she did.
Yeah,
and it was weird seeing Ahsoka with only one lightsaber.
I know. Why did she do that?
Yeah, does she fight better with just one? Or I would think she'd have used them both lightsabers when she fought the Morok and then Balin.
Yeah, because
and she only used one in both
Inquisitor
times.
had that, he had that thing going around, and that would be scary if you only had one lightsaber and you're used to having two. I was kind of curious about why she was fighting one.
Well, and not only that, like when he's fighting with the thing that spins around, so he's standing there with his fist pointing straight out, and he has that lightsaber spinning around his fist. Poke him in the fist with your lightsaber.
Just stick the lightsaber right through the hole.
Yes. Poke him in the fist with your lightsaber. It's totally unprotected at that point.
Yeah.
Is that how she cut him? She stuck it through there?
It almost looks like that.
That's what I
waited. She waited. She watched the spinning and she timed it to get in between the spin.
Yeah.
And slice.
So what do we think about the twin-bladed saber? Is it a good weapon or is it just kind of a cool effect?
I think it's a cool effect.
I think it's kind of I gotta say, I think it's kind of a stupid weapon. Like I think they seem like they're pretty easy to defend against. Every time we've seen anybody using one of those spinning dual-bladed sabers, it's usually over like one swipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell that to Qui-Gon Jinn.
but you see, now that's a different weapon. That was it is.
Yeah, that was.
I think it's different than what Darth Maul had.
That was just the dual lightsaber that Maul had.
I think that the spinning lightsabers is like a cheat that these Inquisitors use because they're not that powerful in the Force. It's kind of like this is their
possibly.
Yeah, and plus but I think it's like a cheat for them to use it. So Ahsoka, I don't understand why she didn't help Sabine and went after Morgan. I guess her goal was to get that map, and she knew the map.
Well,
Yeah, that was her. That was her goal to go try to find the map.
And Sabine said, "Go ahead, I've got this."
Yeah,
and so she gave her the benefit of the doubt.
She didn't exactly have it 2 episodes ago when she got stabbed in the gut.
She fought her a lot better this round. I think still it was a draw, if anything.
Yeah. So those wooden swords did do some work. They did help practice.
Yeah, but they didn't listen to Hu Yang. He told them stay together.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you guys all think about Ahsoka killing Morok and him being just a green gas, so to speak, a creation from the Night Sisters?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what's up with the Lord of the Rings ring wraith thing right there? Because that's immediately where I went.
Yeah.
Well, didn't the Night Sisters in the Rebels episode bring the dead to life? And when they get
I think one of the was one of the Rebel episodes and a Clone Wars episode where they had the Night Sisters or Morgan was able to bring someone back from the dead. That once they die, though, they kind of disappear gas wise and vanish and.
Well, didn't they bring Darth Maul back from the dead in the Clone Wars?
Yep.
Yeah. Are we going to see Maul in this series?
No.
I would love that, but I
don't think
Scott.
so.
I don't think so, but I would love it.
That was such a great ending with Obi-Wan and Maul fighting. What was that, season 2 or 3 of Rebels? And I don't think you can. I don't want to see it. That was such a great battle between the two of them, and it had meaning to it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to see Maul come back, but
I think that'd just be a disservice.
Yeah, you're right. So now Ahsoka and Morgan are going to have their big battle out at Stonehenge.
Balin.
Isn't it Balin Morgan?
No, Morgan is the witch.
Morgan is, she's the lady on the ring.
What's Balin's last name?
Was it Skull?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so Balin.
Ray Stevens.
Balin, yes.
Yeah, Balin. Who took these notes for me?
Anybody wonder why Little Girl Sith was so surprised that Ahsoka beat the what did you just call him? That's my brain. I wrote down. Yeah, Morok.
Oh, Morok.
Like you could see she kind of gasped and was staring like, how did you do that sort of thing, you know?
Well, or was it the gas coming out of Morok that surprised her?
Oh, okay. I never even thought of that.
True, yeah.
That's another point.
Yeah, maybe she thought he was a being, so to speak, a live being instead of I don't know.
And then that magic dust, poof.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's pixie dust, Ken.
Pixie dust. That's what it is.
All right, since we're going there, if Ahsoka would have stayed, they could have knocked out her right off the bat.
For sure.
2-on-1.
Oh yeah.
Then both of them could have went there and got after the map. But then again, would the map already had been downloaded already? And gone? Or
well, if they,
one of those catch-22s.
If they both got there, I think they would have had time for one of them to hold off. What's his name again?
Balin.
One could have hold off Balin while the other one destroyed the map.
That's true.
You know, it's like.
But now knowing what we knew, they wouldn't have destroyed the map. Sabine wouldn't have destroyed it.
She might have if Ahsoka was there.
I was going to say, would she have, if Ahsoka was trying to stop it, to destroy it, would she have tried to stop Ahsoka? Because we now know from watching Balin that it's pretty easy to destroy the map. I mean, he basically stood there with his lightsaber and went zing.
Stuck the thing right in there and split it in two.
Well, if Sabine was fighting Balin, that would have been easy work for Balin, though, with Sabine.
But that map held up pretty well, I thought, against that lightsaber. I mean, like you see lightsabers cut through trees like nothing. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, it took a few seconds.
A few seconds. It wasn't just an easy slice through like a knife through butter. It was like frozen butter that he had to get through. Like it was.
Well, and as we've seen, though, it was possessed by some magic because it burned Ahsoka's hand.
Yeah.
So what was that, do you think? Was that the dark side of the Force, or do you think that is just some, like you say, just some kind of magic, dark magic?
No, I think it's witch magic. I don't think it's the dark side of the Force or not, because Morgan, I don't think has any part of the Force in her. I think she has that witch's magic, the Dathomir witch's magic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, going back to Raiders of the Lost Ark, does Ahsoka now have a copy of the map on her hand?
It's an interesting point. Mind you, she was wearing gloves.
But I think now, jump forward though, now I think she has an access to get to where she wants to go. She could either jump on with all those doors, world between worlds. Either she could go on the the ship that they're on, Morgan's on, or maybe even go where Thrawn's at.
Or take a Purgle.
Yeah.
She seems to be connected to them, and the Purgles took Thrawn and Ezra there to begin with. So
we'll find out in one of the next 2 episodes. We'll find out.
Yes.
I think she's gonna be taking a Purgle. Any other
Purgle?
I think that's a pretty good guess.
Yeah. What do you think, Scott? World between worlds?
I think she uses one of. I think she uses one of the doors to get. If I had to do a guess, yeah.
And what my curiosity has me really wondering what we're going to see of Anakin going forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you think that's Anakin, live Anakin?
No.
Because you think it's a Force ghost?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a very poorly CGI version of Anakin is what I think it was.
Absolutely. That's one of my notes. I put Disney really needs to step up their de-aging software game. Seriously.
Yeah, but it's so hard to do it. You even like watching the new Indiana Jones movie with the de-aging.
Yeah.
I think it's just so hard to get those guys to look so fluid.
Now, you see, I actually
try to take off.
I was actually quite impressed with the new Indiana Jones movie. I thought that the look of Harrison Ford in those shots was actually one of the better ones I've seen. I was really quite pleased with it. I think didn't you say the same thing, Stan?
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job on Indiana.
I thought like when I seen it twice at the theater. The first time I went and seen it, I was bugged by it, especially when he was trying to talk and trying to be funny. Something just didn't look right. Then the second time going around and see it, I of course we knew that's what they had to do is de-age him, and I just didn't think nothing about it the second time around.
Yeah.
But I thought that bugged me more than I thought Anakin.
Yeah, no, I thought the Anakin one was pretty.
What I got from the Anakin was it almost looked like they had his face flipped in the wrong direction. Like if you ever look at a photograph of somebody that you know really well, like if you take a selfie in a mirror or something like that and you see them flipped over and you just kind of in your brain, you're kind of going, that just doesn't seem right somehow. And that's what I got from it. Like I tried looking at pictures of Hayden Christensen online, and I just sort of went like, it just seems like maybe they flipped it or something. It just didn't work.
Interesting. So Hera, Carson, and Arodian, and some other people we don't care about on X-Wings. They're basically red shirters if you're into Star Trek.
Yep.
Try to stop this ring somehow, and they don't do too well.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Well, their plan is to park their ships in front of it, except, of course, that this thing has this massive 2-mile hole right dead center. So you're going to park your ship right in front of that, you know?
Yeah.
I kept thinking...
It's like they got caught in the wake when it took off and just shook them up everywhere.
And I think Morgan knew that was going to happen because when she said go, they said, well, those ships are there, and she didn't really care.
It's like going down the highway and you stop because there's a fly coming by. Like you're not gonna slow down because there's a fly crossing,
Right.
That's kind of what it came down to.
All right, now speaking of that, with Hera bringing the Phoenix Squadron, I guess you could speak, with the X-Wings. Does she get in trouble now? Does she lose her general rank? Does she get demoted? Or does she have physical evidence now that, hey, this is what's going on, and the Republic comes to help them out?
I'm sure she's going to get some lambasting over this, but I think because of the information that she is going to take back, I think that's going to kind of get washed. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty important, what she observed. So.
Well, she now has her proof. And
right.
Yeah. So
and plenty of witnesses to back her up.
Well, she had her proof already that she already had the proof that they took that hyperspace engine.
Yeah.
They took it. They were trying to build some.
Yep.
Like I said, I think some of those senators are they're in cahoots with the Empire and trying to deflect it to not bring no attention. Because I think they might know a little bit.
Yeah.
Or that one senator.
Maybe I missed it because I'm trying to remember whether she mentioned it or not, but I don't even remember her talking about that when she was in that meeting with Mon Mothma and the other senators. Did she even mention that they had stolen that great massive hyperspace engine?
No, she didn't say nothing, but they know they took those the Imperial conspirators or whatever you want to say into custody. So I'm sure, it's all in the detail. I would think they would have to know.
Because she says, like he says, well, how do you know that they were Empire loyalists? She goes, well, long live the Empire was a good clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something along, I'm paraphrasing, but something along those lines.
But that's exactly more or less what he said, exactly.
Yeah. So that's a good question. I think now she has more proof than ever that they're onto something. I think you're right that some of these senators are Empire loyalists, and I think that's going to come out. Guys, we're halfway through this series. There's only 8 episodes.
Yep.
I mean, it's great getting 2 episodes on the first day, but I feel like we're going through this far too quickly.
Fast.
Well, and there's unfortunately, I do think they're playing this a little on the short side. Like these 33 and 37-minute episodes are, I almost wish they would just cut it into like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
Well, I think the episodes going forward are going to be longer than 40 minutes.
Are they?
I want to say, was it either this one with Filoni's episode or the other ones? I want to say some of them are going to be over 50 minutes.
Wow. That would be awesome. I hope they are. Yeah. Well, this last one was 47.
Can we squeeze 2 50-minute episodes into an hour? We had a hard time squeezing 2 30-minute episodes into it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Zeb, not in this episode. We're halfway through. We haven't seen hide or hair.
He's coming.
Where is
I heard some rumors that he's not even going to be in it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I think he will. I'm still holding out that he will. I don't know.
I would like to see him being in it.
Yeah, me too.
But the rumor board going around is he's not going to be in it.
I was right about Carson.
So we'll wait and see.
I was right about Carson being in it.
Yeah, you definitely called that.
Yeah.
I got one
Carson's
question for everybody, though. The scene at the very end where she does actually see Anakin, where Ahsoka sees Anakin, and we sort of cut to that shot where she's looking like she's floating in space with the water rippling around her. It reminded me of that scene where they go for the Infinity Stone when they're after the Infinity Stone.
The
Soul
Stone.
That's the one, yeah.
When they got the Soul Stone.
My question is Ahsoka in the living force? Is that where she is? Because that would almost make sense that she's within the living force, because you would think that would be where the Force ghosts would reside. Like they would transfer their energy to the living force, and then that energy would be transferred back through the other Jedi and through living things, as Yoda says, and that sort of thing. Because it just seemed like she's not floating in space, but it looks like space, and she's not floating in water, even though there's the rippling around her arms and everything. And that's the only thing I could think of, is that she's actually in the living force.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, like they say, it's the world between worlds.
Yeah.
It's where time and space all meet together. You go to different doors. Well, if you like one of those episodes, season 4 of Rebels, when Ezra pulled Ahsoka out, when Ezra's in there, he hears all these voices from the past, present, and in the future in there. So I think it's just where time and space meet.
That's a very cool
Time
thought.
has no meaning. Space has no meaning.
Yeah, that's a very cool thought.
It was weird that she didn't go through any doorway, though. She just appeared there.
Right.
When Ezra went in, he jumped through that circle of wolves.
Right.
Loth wolves,
on a side of a mountain, whereas Ahsoka just kind of stumbled upon it, I guess.
Literally stumbled.
She fell upon it.
Off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, our time's up here. It was an interesting hour chatting with you guys on the roundtable discussion. I did have a listener message me. He says, Cody Havard messaged, and he says, hey, did you know that actress that played Hera, is married to...
We talked about this last time.
I never heard that.
Wow, that's news to me.
I just listened to the episode. I just replied back, you bugger.
Oh, how funny. Touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
That was a good one, Cody. I like that. Alrighty, Ken, even though you're here, you can take it away.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us your idea for the show, and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. All logos, sounds, and songs that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned solely by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be, the ownership of The Solo Show podcast. We hope you'll join us for the next adventure on The Solo Show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.